It's been more than 13 years since A Dance with Dragons hit shelves. Fans have grown up. HBO finished Game of Thrones. House of the Dragon is already 2 seasons deep, and yet, The Winds of Winter remains just a dream. Today we're breaking down every updated George R.R. Martin has given us. The promises, the delays, the side quests, and where things really stand, heading toward the end of 2025.
The novels are novels, the TV series is the TV series. And they're two different beasts. The TV series is very faithful so far. I do write for a series. I do 1 episode per season.
George R.R. Martin is one of the greatest fantasy authors alive. His Song of Ice and Fire series inspired HBO's Game of Thrones, a cultural phenomenon that redefined television. But Martin's biggest challenge hasn't been building Westeros, it's been finishing it. And The Winds of Winter has turned into one of the most delayed books in modern literary history. Let's go through the entire timeline. Back in 2010, Martin revealed he had 4 chapters written for The Winds of Winter, including Arya, Sansa, and Arianne Martell's points of view. By July of that year, he said he had over 100 pages completed. At the time, things looked promising, especially after A Dance with Dragons released in July 2011, leaving fans hungry for more. In 2012, Martin announced he had written 400 pages and optimistically hoped for a 2014 release. But this was just the beginning of a long pattern of hope, delay, and shifting priorities. By 2015, Martin openly admitted he wanted Winds of Winter published before Game of Thrones Season 6. Why? Because that was the season where the show would move past the books. He even canceled appearances to focus on writing. But by January 2016, he confirmed he had missed not 1, but 2 deadlines. His words were blunt. I tried. I promise you, I failed. In 2017, Martin suggested a release was still possible, but instead, he published Fire and Blood in 2018, a massive history of House Targaryen. That book later became the foundation for HBO's House of the Dragon. Martin admitted he was mad at himself for not finishing Winds, even joking that fans could imprison him on a volcanic island in New Zealand if the book wasn't done by 2020. When the pandemic hit, Martin actually made progress. He wrote hundreds and hundreds of pages in 2020, calling it the best year of the project. But by 2021, he admitted there were still hundreds of more pages to write. Once again, the finish line seemed distant. In 2022, Martin revealed he was about 3/4 finished with about 1,100 pages written, but he still had 400 to 500 more to go. At the same time, HBO announced spinoffs like A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, with Martin heavily involved. Fans noticed a pattern. Every time Winds of Winter neared completion, another Westeros project popped up to claim his attention. By 2023, Martin admitted he was stuck at about 1,100 pages, the same number as the year before. Then in 2024, after the death of his friend Howard Waldrop, Martin said writing became very difficult. He made small progress, but television projects and grief slowed him down. Later that year, he called The Winds of Winter the curse of my life, admitting it was now 13 years overdue. And now in 2025, well, this year has been quite the roller coaster. First, Martin helped debut cloned direwolf pups, leading fans to joke that we got real direwolves before Winds of Winter. He admitted the book was still a curse, but progress was being made. By July, he revealed he had written around 1,500 pages, potentially the longest book in the series. However, He stressed the challenge was weaving all the narratives together. At the same time, Martin signed on as a producer for a film adaptation of Elden Ring, teaming with director Alex Garland. And in August, tensions boiled over. At a convention in Seattle, a so-called fan confronted Martin, cruelly suggesting he wouldn't live to finish the series. The audience booed, but it showed just how much frustration lingers around this unfinished saga.
But I have a genuine fantasy-related question. But here's the thing. George, you're not going to be around for much longer. And this is a tough question that I wanted to ask. And this is more directed at Brandon. No. Wait, I was wondering, like, how would you feel about someone else taking over and finishing the books? Yeah.
Not me.
And now, as we head into October, George R.R. Martin is slated to have several different panels at New York Comic Con. So where does this leave us? Well, Martin insists that the Winds of Winter is still his top priority, but he admits the process has been exhausting, filled with distractions and setbacks. If his page count is accurate, the book may finally be nearing completion. But remember, this isn't even the end. Martin still plans a 7th book, A Dream of Spring, along with more Dunk and Egg stories and Fire and Blood Volume 2. For fans, the wait has been long, painful, and uncertain. But maybe, just maybe, the winds are finally starting to blow in the right direction. Now, what do you think? Will we ever read The Winds of Winter? Or will it remain the greatest what if in fantasy literature? Let me know what you think down in the comments. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon updates. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to keep those heads on, and I'll see you guys in the next video.